All right, questions on using outside sources. Question number 1, what would you recommend for finding outside sources for this paper? Now that kind of goes under the umbrella of how many sources are you required to have. So first, you do need to have one primary source. That's the text that you're going to be analyzing rhetorically. And then you need to have 2 kind of helper sources that are going to help you progress your analysis. Now, all of these sources are sources of your choosing, okay? So when we get to looking at the helper sources, where do we go? Well, the library and library databases are a wonderful resource. I have a couple of links here for you. One is CW Libraries Research Support. That goes through the different avenues available to you using the libraries to find credible sources. And next, evaluating sources for credibility. So if you're going through Google Scholar, or just going straight through Google, making sure that you evaluate that source to see whether or not it's a good source to use. Do not use Wikipedia. Please, promise me now, no Wikipedia. Wikipedia bad, okay? Avoid that, all right? So this goes into also where's a good place to find a trustworthy source, not Wikipedia. Okay, you can use the bibliography they have down at the bottom to find sources in a more credible fashion if you want to, but do not use that as one of the sources that you list for this particular paper. Okay, can we use books instead of internet sources? Yes, big thumbs up. Again, just make sure that all of your sources are on your Works Cited page. If it's a print-based book, the template for that Works Cited entry is different from internet sources. And we've already gone over how many sources to use minimum, your 1 primary source, 2 helper sources, how many sources to use maximum. Don't use more than 4 sources. Okay. We don't want to make this more of a research paper. We still want to focus on rhetoric and rhetorical analysis and not a research source-based paper. We don't want to overload with sources. Okay. And last question here, what would be a good example of how to have a helper source that really does elaborate on that main text being analyzed? My suggestion would be to analyze context as part of your rhetorical analysis. And if you look at context in our rhetorical analysis notes, it means looking at the history, what was going on in society at the time of publication. So any kind of historical research that you do that gives information on the day, the year, the month something was created or published that might have impacted the author and how they communicated that message is a really good source to use in order to, 1, rhetorically analyze that source, and 2, help build your analysis. Okay? All right.